So, does anyone have any idea what this picture is of? You do. Can you raise your hand? Okay, Jill?
That is Chicago. I know from there it's an immigrant march that took place here.
Awesome, thanks. So Jill, our native Chicagoan here in the room, recognizes this picture as a picture of the marches that happened in 2006. And in 2006, there were these massive marches that happened throughout the United States in response to some very unfair legislation that was targeting the Latino community. And so people took to the streets and said, today we march, tomorrow we vote. And we saw then, 2 years later, that they made true on this conversation of first marching and then voting. And we currently have the president in office that we do in large part as a result of that activism that went from the streets to the voting booths, not only of the Latino community, but of the Latino community and our allies who stood with us in solidarity. The argument of many of us up here today is that what's next, we've marched, we voted, and what's next is for us to mobilize as a community online and to really be able to leverage this power of new media to further the work that we're doing in the pro-migrant space as well as in the civil rights space. I wanted to share with you at NCLR what we're doing is we're blogging at this blog called wecanstopthehate.org. We're also using social networks to be able to share our message. So this is our Twitter account, and our Twitter handle is NCLR, for National Council of la Raza. And on our Twitter account, what we do is we do a couple of things. One, we share our press releases, so it's a way for people to find out what we're working on. We share different opportunities for people to engage in the way of blogger calls that we hold with bloggers on a regular basis. And we also ask for input and do a lot of listening to see what people are talking about in the community and people who are interested in the work that we're doing in the community. This screenshot is from a couple of days ago, and you can see we mention in one of our tweets our annual conference that just happened in Chicago. And so we actually had our second tweet, if you look down to the second one, we had a blogger call with bloggers who were going to be participating with us in Chicago. We were lucky enough to have many of you who are here in this room, and then some other bloggers who were Chicago-based who joined us as well. And so we wanted to have a conference call before that to be able to discuss how we could give them access, how they could get information, what kinds of questions they had, and things of the sort. The other thing that we're really very keen on and focused on is lifting up the voices of the pro-migrant, civil rights, Latino blogosphere. And we really believe that it is through the voices of that community that this issue is going to continue to be moved forward. And so this screenshot here is illustrative of some of the bloggers who were with us at NCLR's conference. We had Viva la Feminista. How many of you know Veronica Ariola from Viva la Feminista? Okay, great. So she was also at the blogger conference, and then she joined us at NCLR. And we had Dream Activists, so Perna, there's a screenshot of Dream Activists there, and Chicanísima, and this is Teresa Puente, and she has a really interesting story. She was a traditional journalist who decided to move into the blogging world, and so she's a new blogger now, and Chicanísima is her blog, and so she was with us for that as well. And here are some other screenshots of some of the bloggers that were with us: Para Justicia y Libertad, Imagine 2050, Citizen Orange, and Latinos at Work. And so these are very different perspectives that all of these bloggers brought to the table. I'll just talk about Latinos at Work for 1 second, because it's different in that it is in the niche of the workforce and employment. And so Murray, who is actually Latino, he's half Russian and half Argentinian. He was blogging from that capacity, but also through that making contributions to the movement and to this conversation. And so it is precisely because of that that we have today's panel here, because we really wanted to share with you, the Netroots community, the work that the pro-migrant civil rights blogosphere is doing.